Yes, we're now live.
So hello, everybody,
Yes.
and welcome to this fantastic and really exciting conversation. My name is Joshua Castro,
Hello.
Minority Rights Group International.
Thanks.
We've got two wonderful people with us. Sitting in Kigali, we have Nyiraminani, Delphine, and she is going to talk a little bit about her experiences with the excellent and outstanding and probably the brightest talent in British acting at the moment, Paterson Joseph. You might know him as I do from the Kamal fame, and really he has to try and exonerate himself. And you might also know him from the fascinating play on Ignatius Sancho. But essentially, Paterson and Nyiraminani, you're going to speak to each other about the kinds of experiences that you had as minorities, growing up and going to school, and the extent to which the system tried to handicap you and tried to essentially dismiss your talent, but somehow you both got somewhere with it. And I think your story will be inspiring and raise so many issues for so many people around the world. And colleagues listening, Paterson is going to make an appeal on BBC Radio 4 on Sunday, so please do tune in for that. But without further ado, Sam, who I'm pleased to share this platform with, and I are going to now make ourselves disappear from your screens so you can focus on Paterson and Nyiraminani and their fascinating stories. Thank you.
Hello, everybody.
Thank you.
And
Hello.
Nyiraminani. Now, I say your name very smoothly, but that's because I've made myself practice. It's an unusual name.
That's good.
But it's a very beautiful name. And I hear you tell me that it means something. So can you tell me first what your name means?
Yeah.
You tell me what your name means.
You say?
Tell me what Nyiraminani means.
Bisobanuye.
Nyiraminani means the 8th child of the family.
Right. So this is very interesting. I mean, yesterday we spoke a little bit, but I'm going to ask you some of the same questions, but some different ones. So you said that you're the 8th child. The 8th child in a family that didn't have very much money, I imagine. So a little bit like my family, there were 6 children and 2 parents. So there were 8 of us. We didn't have very much money. So that's quite a difficult start. Was it a good childhood anyway?
No?
No. It wasn't.
Yeah.
Right. It was a tough childhood. And so did you want to go to school from the very beginning, and was everybody happy for you to go to school?
Kujya uragerageza kujya kwifasha. Ubundi nkitangiye kujya ku ishuri.
When she started going to school,
Ntabwo byari binyoroheye.
it was not easy for her.
Kubera yuko twe tubaye mu buzima bubi.
As the family, they lived in a very tough life because he had lost her dad.
Mama urumva yakoraga ibintu by'ibiraka ajya guhingira abandi baturage.
Her mom used to work in the daily activities, trying to get some money for living.
Yabona ayo mafaranga urumva araza akaduhahira kubona ibikoresho byo kujya ku ishuri bikangora.
She used the money for buying some food, but it was not enough to buy school materials.
Rimwe na rimwe akagerageza yabona menshi akakura yo guhaha yandi akaguramo ibikoresho.
Sometimes when she got a lot of money, she could afford to buy some school materials as well.
So it sounds, oh, sorry, carry on.
Ubwo ngubwo twakomeje kubaho muri ubwo buzima.
They kept living in that manner of life.
Ariko n'ubundi njyewe intego nari ifite niyo gukomeza kwiga byaba mu buzima bubi cyangwa bwiza nkakomeza kwiga.
But she had the main objective of struggling and trying to keep her studies going on.
Nakuze nkunda ishuri cyane.
Because she grew up loving school. She liked to study.
iyo urebye no mu rugo ni njyewe usanga barize abandi bana
she's the only one in her family to go to school.
Abandi bagiye barijyamo,
Others had dropped out on lowest levels.
Bitewe nyine n'ubwo buzima, ariko nyine naragerageje nkomeza kwiga bigoye, ariko kuko nabikundaga ndagerageza.
But she kept studying even it was difficult, but she kept trying to keep on. Sometimes her mom went to in a local administration to ask for help. Sometimes she got help, sometimes not, and that was very difficult. But she kept on going, she kept struggling, and because in the area where she lived, other children could afford to go to school, and she wanted to be like them. It was a very good thing to go in boarding school. That's why she said, I have to go there to me. I have to go there and see what others do. Like, I have to do that, me too.
And
regardless of the family where I come from.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Nyiraminani, did you have a lot of help from teachers when you were at school? When I went to school, I had one great teacher called Mrs. Bird, who is passed away now. But Mrs. Bird was from Goa in India. She was very kind to me, and she thought I was intelligent, even though none of the other teachers believed I was. So she was very helpful. Did you have a Mrs. Bird? Did you have a teacher who really looked?
Yes, of course. There's one teacher called. There's one teacher who taught them the social studies course. She loved that course. Where she had difficulties, she could get to him, and he was very helpful.
What was the name of that teacher?
Ndimukaga Theogene.
Ndimukaga Theogene.
Ndimukaga Theogene. Did I get it?
Theogene.
Theogene.
Ndimukaga Theogene.
Yeah.
Ndimukaga Theogene.
Ndimukaga means, yeah.
Ndimukaga.
Timukaga. Timukaga.
Yeah. Ndimukaga.
Ndimukaga.
Yeah.
Ah, thank you.
Ndimukaga means I'm in trouble.
But the teacher wasn't trouble. The teacher helped you when you were in trouble.
Yeah.
So when I went to school, I was one of only, well, I was the only black child in my school. London, in a place called Wilson Green, and most of the other kids were Irish. So as the only kid who was black and the only kid who was not Irish, I stood out anyway. I got a little bit bullied, a little bit attacked, but I defended myself. But what was difficult for me was the attitudes of the teachers, who, seeing an immigrant child who they'd never seen before, or who they'd never had a lot of experience of before, they presumed that I didn't know anything. And I took the attitude that I didn't know anything. It was very difficult in my first few years at school. Did you experience any of that discrimination that made you feel a little bit less confident in yourself?
Yeah.
Yes, she experienced that kind of discrimination. Because in the country there was an ethnic group, and And she belonged in the ethnic which was the minority, which was discriminated. Yeah, they said this one is from this ethnic, one is Mutwa, so she can't afford to go to school. How can Mutwa go to school? Where he passed, other students, other children could see, look at her.
urumva naba ndi mu ishuri nyine nubwo nabaga nica ariko urumva nabaga mfite akantu habatse kuki bambona bakantangarira.
When she was in class, she was behaving, why do I not look like others? Why do people keep saying this to me, saying I can't school, how can I come here to study?
Nubwo nageragezaga wenda nkishyiramo icyizere ariko iyo umuntu akubwiye buri kanya ngo
even if she tried to keep confident, to be confident, there was that side when people keep harassing you, saying you are Mutwa. It's like an insult.
Yes.
She was asking herself, why? Why do people keep saying this and this to me?
Do you think because of this atmosphere, that was a reason why your sisters and perhaps your other siblings didn't go to school or didn't last?
Yes, it's possible. And that kind of discrimination, and the other kind of the other side of the poverty of the family. Sometimes when she was like in a P6, primary 6, and she succeeded the exams or she failed some topics, and it was difficult to keep going, to keep studies, because no one could help her in the family, like how to do homeworks or to keep going in secondary school. And she could stop a little bit and go to do some activities or miss some classes because of that. She needs to go to do some activities at home.
Nyiraminani, there's been a lot of challenges on your life. In London, where I grew up, there is a lot of opportunities for everybody. When you are Black, it becomes more difficult. It becomes more difficult to get jobs. It becomes more difficult to pass interviews for getting into colleges or further education. But we still push through, and most of us do as well as we possibly can despite the system. But your pressures are much harder and heavier than ours are. How did you keep your determination? How did you keep going? Why did you not just give up?
Murakoze. Ukuntu nge nabigenje bitewe n'ukuntu nyine nari ifite ubushake bwo kwiga.
That eagerness, that desire to keep studying,
ibyo nyine byabagaho pe nkanabyumva.
She could understand and accept that and ignore it.
Ariko kubera nari ifite intego.
As she had an objective,
nkavuga ati byanga byakunda nahura n'ibicantege nzakomeza kugeza.
She had decided that whatever happens, whatever challenges comes, she would keep trying, because it was the only way to get out from the poverty of the family. There was on a level that she got some sponsors who could help her to keep studying, because they saw that she wants to keep studying. That's what attracted them to her, and they came for her. She remember when she started the ordinary level, when she was going into upper secondary level, she got a sponsor, the Red Cross International. Yeah. They paid the school fees until she finished the secondary studies. Until now, they are the ones who still paying for the scholarship and the school tuitions, everything. At this time, their project, their school scholarship project had stopped. And that's why she's wondering what will happen in the year to come. Because until now, the length of the project of the Red Cross in paying school fees and school materials for the children is stopped now. And there are a lot of children the Red Cross helped, and now they don't know what will happen next. Maybe they don't know.
Okay, so you may need help to go and finish school next year.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, yes, well, hopefully we can try and help with that, or that somebody listening will also want to help.
Yeah.
Nyiraminani, I am amazed by you. I'm amazed by your story. Everybody has their struggles in life, but yours were particularly huge. But look at you now. Look how articulate you are and how confident you seem to be. Do you know what you want to do for your future?
Murakoze. Ikintu numva nakora bitewe n'isomo niga.
As she's studying the land survey and topology,
nta kwitinya muri njyewe,
and she's confident that
hari ukuntu batanga amatangazo yo kujya gukora ibizamini by'akazi.
When she got like a job announcement, she will go and try that those job opportunities.
Ntabwo natinya kujya gukora ikizamini.
Yeah, she's very confident she can pass any exam.
She
has the objective to show, to be an example for other children in the village, that she's got from one level, which was the lowest level, to another level, which is better one.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And you will be already. You're doing something that very few people have done. So you are in your village already. You are a heroine. You are someone people will look up to and want to imitate. And it's wonderful to have a brilliant example like you for them to want to imitate.
Yeah. Thank you.
Is there any questions you want to ask me, Nyiraminani?
Yeah, she wants to ask you some questions. Are you married?
No, I'm not married.
No, yeah, not yet. Yeah, she wants to know how you struggle to get on that level where you are.
I had a very bad time at school, but inside I knew that I had some intelligence. And it's very difficult when the world outside tells you something about yourself and tells you what you should be doing and where you should be and what level, when inside you feel that there is more. But I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So I drifted through school. I didn't do very well. I played truant a lot. Sorry, but I did. And I would walk to the library, which I had locally, and I would sit in there all day reading books. But I didn't like school very much. So when I left school, everything that I did made me feel like, oh, I do have a brain. I can do maths, and I'm quite good at English, and I can write a little bit. So I knew gradually that I had something there. And then I was about 18 years old, and I was a chef. I was training to be a chef. Working in the kitchen, I decided, you know, I want to do something creative. And I tried some acting when I was very young, and I thought I'd do that again. And so I went to a youth theatre, and at that time, London used to have an educational authority that paid money for arts. So you could go and learn how to dance, or you could learn how to do circus skills, or you could go to a youth theatre because they gave money to that. They don't really give money to those things today, which is a shame. And so I went to a youth theatre, and one tiny thing, I remember we were doing an improvisation class. Improvisation just means you make something up. And me and my partner were asked to do something, and we pretended to make a wall. And my dad worked in the building trade, so I'd seen a lot of guys doing this. So we were miming, you know, mixing the cement, getting the bricks up, putting a plaster on, and everybody was like you are now, smiling. And I thought that was magic, because I didn't have anything in my hand. I was only pretending to mix the plaster, and there was no brick, but people could believe it. And I thought, this is magic, and I want to be involved in this magic if I can be. And so that's how I started. But my determination, I suppose because school was so bad, was to learn as much as I could. So my acting life has really been my education, because if I have to play the King of Norway, which I did once for the Royal Shakespeare Company, I have to study Norway. And so I know a little bit about the history of Norway. And if I have to do a play that's set in Egypt, then I will study Egyptian history. Or if it's one of the kings of England, I'll have to study that period. So my education has been my acting, because I like to research, and it has really helped me. I think it's given me all the confidence that I have now, because I used to be very shy, but it's the more you talk, and the more you talk with other people's great words, the more confidence you have in your own self, really. So I'd always recommend acting, not if you want to be an actor, but just for confidence, just to be able to stand in front of people and speak, which is a big deal. And to do it in a relaxed way is a big deal. So I've learned lots from acting. It's actually the best education I could ever have wished for.
She's got another question.
Okay.
Ni ibihe bibazo uhura nabyo mu bintu ukora nyine ubu ngubu uri gukora? Ni ibihe bibazo uhura nabyo ugenda uhura nabyo?
What are the challenges you face in nowadays in your profession, especially as a black?
As a black person who's an actor, I feel like it's always been tricky. It's not a new thing. It's not suddenly it's worse. It's always been tricky, because whatever skills I have, I will always be a challenge to the person casting if they feel I'm not used to seeing a black person in this role. For example, you know, when I do theatre, sometimes I can play, you know, the king, and it might be the king of a country that's never had a black ruler. But if I'm able to play it, and I'm able to be convincing, then that should be it. But actually, a lot of people are very blind, and they only say, well, you can't, it's not possible. So my career, if you look at the work I've done, has been to do everything. As I said, I played the king of the Inca in Peru. I played the king of Norway. I played an African prince. I played you know, great villains, great dukes of England. Hotspur, he was a great rebellious Duke of England during the time of Henry V. I've played all sorts of characters, because that to me is very important. It's important to me. So I choose my work as much as I can choose my work to be as different each time as possible. It's been tough, but I've got a very hard head, and I just keep going. I just keep going, Nyiraminani. No matter how many times people have told me, you're not clever, you're not artistic, you're not creative, I just keep going because I believe that it's in me. And, yeah, like you, I'm determined and I will not be stopped.
Okay, that's good.
I wish you so much fortune, because you're not only fighting against what's happening around you, you're fighting against what the world thinks of you, and yet you're still rising, and I really admire you.
Yeah, I know.
I want to take your confidence and I want to put it in a bottle and give it to every child that I know, especially every Black child. I want to give that confidence that you have. I know. I know. I'm great. I know. So I suppose we should wrap up a little, but I want to ask you, maybe I should ask you one more question. What do you think for your people, for the people of your ethnicity, what are your hopes for the future, Nyiraminani?
Okay, murakoze. Njyewe ukuntu mbatekerezaho,
The way she thinks about her ethnic group,
urumva ubuzima buracyari bubi pe.
they are still struggling. They are still living in very bad conditions.
Kuko iyo urebye na n'ubu ngubu,
As when you see nowadays,
usanga nyine bagifite imbogamizi.
they still have challenges because they are marginalized. They are the
Urasanga
poorest communities in the country.
usanga ari babandi bakiri hasi.
They live in very bad conditions, so their children too.
Bitewe n'uko badafite uburyo nyine bazamuka.
As there is no opportunities for them, not so much opportunities for them.
Mfite icyizere yuko,
But she hopes that
kuko ababyeyi bacu nyine urebye amateka babayemo,
as the history of the parents is a little bit different from the history of the children, because they never went to school.
ni mabi, ariko ubu ngubu twebwe abana babyaye,
some children went to school and they are changing the mindsets.
Like you.
Yeah.
How wonderful. How wonderful. Well, thank you so much for talking to me. And I've enjoyed every moment, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
It has been a real pleasure to listen to both of you talking about these, and it really identifies, I think, and brings to the fore why it is that we need to invest in every child. You know, the experiences you just faced because you were different in the end, and because some people didn't know how to handle that. And I think it just shows that when you push through, you're both incredible pioneers, and you just really have to get and make the world realize that we can't rule out the potential of any child, because we don't know. Among the kids being turned away could be great actors, could be great computer scientists, could be people who have the cure for cancer, could be people who can teach us how to live in harmony with our environment. How can anybody at that age, when looking at a child, decide what their future would be? I think we've come to the end of this conversation. It's been fascinating. It just shows us, it gives us a little glimpse into what the world could be if we do invest in every child, and not just the children from a dominant majority, usually men, because folks, we've seen where that's got us. We've got mediocrity. We've got mediocrity in government. We've got mediocrity in science. We've got mediocrity in the media. And what you have in this brief conversation between Nyiraminani and Paterson Joseph is the alternative. This is what you can get if you don't make children fight through every single battle to realize the innate talent that each child has. Thank you very much for joining us on this journey. And Nyiraminani, it's a pleasure to work with you and your community in Rwanda. MRG is very proud of working with you. We learn from you every day. Paterson, you're new to our organization, but You're going to inspire so many of our communities with your story. We really are intrigued. We're going to watch every step. And I said to you yesterday, that we're going to make this physical meeting happen. That is high on our list of priorities. This was the idea of my colleague Sam, who's very patiently on this call. And Sam thought, wouldn't it be great to get these two people who've experienced educational discrimination in such different ways, in such different settings? Wouldn't it be great if they could just chat with each other? And I think it's been fascinating. We have been honored to listen into the conversation. And hopefully it's the first of many more conversations we will have. For those of you who joined us on Facebook, thank you very much for this. Please do listen into Paterson's Appeal on BBC Radio 4. Those of you who don't have BBC Radio 4, you will, if you go to our website, see information about this and stories of other children in places like Pakistan, in Ukraine, in a whole variety of places where really the experience is the same. If we don't and give every child a chance to let their talents really show, we will get the kind of broken world we have now. And we want to invest in a different future, and we need you along the way. And Nyiraminani and Paterson, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. And thanks, Sam, for the idea and for running us through it. Goodbye.
Thank you all. Lovely to see you. Have a great day to everybody.
Thank you too.
Bye, Nyiraminani.
Bye.
Bye. Lovely to talk to you.
Yeah.